Basketball might be a non-contact sport, but some players didn't get that memo. Over the years, the NBA has had some straight-up dangerous players. Guys who weren't afraid to fight, throw dirty hits, or even injure opponents. These aren't just tough players, these are the most feared, most violent, and most dangerous enforcers in NBA history. Let's get into it. Number 10. The walking intimidation factor. Kenyon Martin was the type of player who could get in your head before the game even started. His physical presence alone was intimidating. He had tattoos covering his arms, a permanent scowl, and a reputation for delivering some of the hardest fouls in the league. If you drove to the basket, you had to think twice because Martin wasn't going to let you get an easy bucket without making you pay the price. During his time with the Nuggets, Martin had a reputation for being one of the most feared defenders in the NBA. One of his most infamous moments came during a game against the Clippers when he delivered a brutal hard foul on Corey Maggot, sending him crashing to the ground. Maggot got up ready to fight, but Martin didn't back down. He stood over him, daring him to throw a punch. The referees had to step in before it turned into a full-on brawl.
McGetty is fouled, pushes down Martin, and Martin takes a swing.
And that was Martin's mentality. He wasn't just trying to play basketball, he was trying to intimidate you into quitting. Number 9. The guy who would fight anyone. Barkley wasn't just a dominant player, he was a walking fight waiting to happen. At 6 feet 6 inches and 250 pounds, Barkley had no fear and wasn't afraid to throw hands with anyone. Players, coaches, even random people at bars. One of Barkley's wildest moments came in 1997 when he got into an argument at a bar. Things escalated quickly, and Barkley grabbed the man and threw him through a glass window. When police arrived, Barkley didn't even try to talk his way out of it. Instead, he casually told them, "Yeah, I did it. I'd do it again." And it wasn't just off the court. Barkley got into multiple fights during games. He once squared up with Shaquille O'Neal, throwing a punch at the 7 feet 1 inch giant before the two started wrestling on the court. Barkley Barkley wasn't just a Hall of Famer, he was one of the most feared players of his era. Number 8. Dennis Rodman, the master of chaos. Rodman wasn't just known for his rebounding, he was known for his wild, unpredictable, and often dangerous behavior. He was willing to dive into crowds, throw elbows, and play mind games that could push opponents over the edge. In 1997, during a game against the Timberwolves, Rodman got frustrated after tripping over a cameraman. Instead of just getting up and moving on, Rodman kicked the man in the chest, sending him rolling backward.
For the rebound, tapped it out, and it'll belong to Minnesota.
He kicked the cameraman. He was really upset. Really upset.
The NBA suspended him for 11 games and fined him $200,000. But Rodman never really changed. Rodman also headbutted a referee, shoved Karl Malone multiple times, and played defense so aggressively that he nearly started fights in every other game. He wasn't just a tough player, he was a psychological menace who could break his opponents down both physically and mentally. Number 7. Draymond Green, the modern-day enforcer. Draymond is one of the best defenders in NBA history, but he's also one of the dirtiest and most aggressive players of his era. Known for his constant trash talk, cheap shots, and willingness to fight teammates, he's the last person you want to mess with in a heated game. In 2022, during a Warriors practice, Green punched his own teammate Jordan Poole in the face, knocking him to the ground. The footage leaked, and it showed just how explosive Green's temper can be. And let's not forget the multiple times he's kicked opponents below the belt, including Steven Adams and LeBron James. Number 6. Shaquille O'Neal, the most physically dominant player ever. Shaq wasn't just big, he was a force of nature. Standing at 7 feet 1 inch and 325 pounds, he was one of the strongest and most dominant players the NBA has ever seen. But what made him truly dangerous wasn't just his size, it was his temper. If Shaq got angry, someone was going to get hurt. One of Shaq's most infamous moments came in 2002 when the Lakers played the Bulls. During a heated exchange, Brad Miller fouled Shaq hard, and that was a big mistake. Shaq turned around and cocked his fist back, swinging at Miller's face with full force. Luckily, Miller was stepping away and the punch missed, but if it had landed, it could have broken Miller's jaw or even knocked him out cold.
And he's going in, there's the fist, man, throws the fist. And now goes after it with Brad Miller.
And that wasn't a one-time thing. Shaq also body slammed Charles Barkley during a fight, elbowed Dikembe Mutombo so hard he left him bruised, and even pinned Greg Ostertag against the wall before a game just to prove a point. Shaq played with a smile, but if you crossed him, you were getting sent to the ground. Number 5. Kevin Garnett, the ultimate trash-talking bully. Kevin Garnett wasn't just one of the best power forwards ever, he was also one of the biggest bullies in NBA history. He didn't just want to beat you, he wanted to break you mentally. KG was notorious for his relentless trash talk, dirty plays, and psychological warfare. If you were his opponent, he'd get inside your head and make you hate every second on the court. One of Garnett's most infamous moments happened in 2013 during a game against the Knicks. He was jawing with Carmelo Anthony all game, but then he said something that made Melo snap. According to reports, KG told Carmelo that his wife, La, tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios.
Well, you know, they weren't talking about what I smelled like, actually.
Oh, they weren't?
No, they were saying what I tasted.
Oh my God! I have never ever in my life disrespected a man or his family or his wife or his mom or none of that. I have never in my life.
Carmelo lost it. He waited outside the Celtics team bus after the game, trying to fight Garnett right then and there. Security had to step in before things got physical, but the damage was done. KG had gotten into his head completely, and that was typical Garnett. He would talk trash to anyone and everyone, from superstars to rookies. He once screamed in Tim Duncan's face on Mother's Day, mocking the fact that Duncan's mother had passed away.
Happy Mother's Day to you mothers, right, and future mothers.
KG also played physically dirty. He set brutal screens, threw elbows, and wasn't afraid to get in people's faces. If you were on the court with him, you had to be ready for war. Number 4. Ron Artest, the man who started the Malice at the Palace. Ron Artest, later known as Meta World Peace, wasn't just aggressive, he was completely unpredictable. At any moment, he could go from playing defense to throwing hands with someone. The wildest fight in NBA history started because of Artest. In 2004, during a game between the Indiana Pacers and the Detroit Pistons, Artest got into a scuffle with Ben Wallace. The refs broke it up, but as Artest lay on the scorer's table, a fan in the crowd threw a drink at him. Artest saw red. He jumped into the stands and started swinging at random fans, igniting a full-scale riot. Other Pacers players like Steven Jackson and Jermaine O'Neal joined in, throwing punches at both fans and Pistons players. The fight was so bad.
Ben to the rack, lays it up, no, but we do have a whistle and a foul. Ben just went after Artest. Oh, that's not good. Got trouble right here in the motor.
That the NBA suspended Artest for the entire season, costing him millions, and that was just the worst incident. Artest had been in plenty of other fights. He once elbowed James Harden in the head so hard it gave him a concussion, and he constantly pushed, shoved, and bullied opponents. Artest wasn't just a tough player, he was someone you never wanted to mess with. Number 3. Charles Oakley, the ultimate enforcer. Even Michael Jordan needed him. Charles Oakley wasn't just tough, he was one of the most feared enforcers in NBA history. If you played against him, you had to be ready for war. He was physical, aggressive, and had no problem settling things with his fists. One of Oakley's wildest moments came during a game against the Philadelphia 76ers. Charles Barkley, known for his trash talk, started running his mouth, and Oakley didn't like what he was hearing. Instead of arguing, he walked right up to Barkley and slapped him across the face, twice. Barkley, one of the toughest and strongest players in NBA history, was completely stunned.
Sixers had it. Whoa, Barkley and Oakley are going to go. No.
Most players would have been too afraid to challenge him, but Oakley didn't care. To him, respect wasn't given. It was earned through toughness. Even after that moment, Barkley never truly got along with Oakley. Their rivalry lasted years, and every time they faced off, it was a battle of strength and pride. But one thing was clear, Oakley wasn't afraid of anyone. Number 2. Kermit Washington, the punch that nearly killed a player. Kermit Washington was known for his tough physical play during his NBA career, but one moment would forever define him in the history of the league. Known for being someone who didn't shy away from contact, Washington's reputation took a dramatic turn after one incident that shocked the basketball world. During a game in 1977 between the Los Angeles Lakers and the Houston Rockets, tensions were already high when a fight broke out between players. As the chaos unfolded, Rudy Tomjanovich, trying to intervene, ran toward the confrontation, but Kermit Washington, thinking he was under attack, turned and threw a devastating punch directly at Tomjanovich. The punch caused serious injuries, including a fractured skull and severe facial damage, and doctors later revealed that it could have been fatal.
I turned and I looked at Rudy was on the floor, and there was a pool of blood, and it was just right around his face, and it started expanding.
Washington was suspended for 60 days, and the NBA responded by implementing stricter rules to control violent conduct. This moment became one of the most infamous incidents in NBA history, and significantly changed the league's approach to handling on-court altercations. Number 1. Latrell Sprewell, the player who choked his own coach and more. Latrell Sprewell was one of the most talented, yet dangerous players in NBA history. Known for his fierce competitiveness, Sprewell's career was marked by multiple outbursts that turned him from a standout on the court to one of the most infamous players off it. Despite his brilliance on the floor, it was his explosive temper that led to his reputation as a volatile and dangerous player. The most infamous incident of Sprewell's career happened in 1997 during a practice with the Golden State Warriors. Head coach P.J. Carlesimo criticized Sprewell for not passing the ball, and the situation quickly escalated. Out of nowhere, Sprewell walked up to Carlesimo, grabbed him by the throat, and choked him for several seconds. His teammates were forced to intervene and pull him off. The incident left everyone in shock and ultimately led to Sprewell being suspended for the rest of the season. The violent attack on his coach changed the course of his career forever, as the NBA cracked down on player conduct and fighting in the league. And that's our list of the top 10 most dangerous players in NBA history. Let us know who we missed in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more NBA content.